The purpose of kind of like this video is to talk about this idea called hoo-gah, which it doesn't look like that's how you would pronounce it, but as best as I can determine, that's how you say it. It is a Danish a word. It's kind of a Scandinavian term, and there's been a great book about it that's been circulating and has become quite popular. And it's basically this idea of how to live with this feeling of comfort and this feeling of calmness and happiness and warmth. It's about like an ambiance that kind of envelops you and makes you feel really good. And I feel like in the winter here in the US, we spend a lot of energy. I'm so guilty of this. I spend a lot of my energy complaining about the weather, wishing the weather was different, talking about how miserable the weather is, and dreaming about a different season, spring or summer or some, nicer climate. And the idea for this book is that the Danish people, obviously, a small Scandinavian country in the kind of extreme north, they have miserable winters, but they don't have this kind of same hate or like displeasure about the cold, dark winter months. And they've embraced this idea that it's kind of part of their lifestyle, and they've incorporated all these moments of hoo-gah or kind of like comfort and happiness into their daily life. And I thought, well, what a great idea, and something I could certainly learn from, because I don't want to spend 4 months of my year wishing away the cold and dreaming of warmer weather and just kind of like losing out on the benefits that this season brings, because there are benefits in every season if we were just more careful to look for them and to observe them. So this whole idea of hoo-gah, and I will list the book in the comments. I really recommend it. It's a short read, not a very big book, but it has a lot of good information and a lot of good research actually about why this particular country always scores so highly on the happiness quota, and how hoo-gah kind of plays into that. So I've been kind of going on a little bit of a spiritual journey, so to speak, about how to try to be happier and more content in this particular season. So that impacts some of the things that I'm going to stock in my home and have on hand to try to kind of create those feelings of hoo-gah, that kind of comfortable, cozy atmosphere where things are familiar and safe and cozy and warm and welcoming, and so that maybe I don't always dread a cold winter's night, but instead learn to look forward to it. So that's a short little book excerpt, a book report on my latest read, which is the hoo-gah, the Book of Happiness. And so I will link it. Please check it out. I highly recommend it. And then some of these finds that I'm going to be sharing with you are directly inspired from that book. But I hope you find some encouragement as you watch some of these videos and get some ideas and tips of your own. It's a brand new channel, so any likes and subscribes you could give me mean a lot to me. I'm really grateful for that, and that keeps me motivated to keep making more content. So we've got a very busy year on my channel and with our family. We've got 4 Disney trips coming up in the next calendar year, as well as a Disney cruise. So a lot of adventure, a lot of family travel, a lot of hopefully good family memories. So I would really appreciate you following along on our journey. And then when we're home, I try to do some videos about just life around where we live. We live in a pretty interesting part of the world, in the kind of greater DC area, with a lot of historic sites and battlefields and kind of cool geographic areas. We're right against the Blue Ridge and the Appalachian Trail. So anyway, I hope that you will follow along on our journey as I take you along with us this coming year with our Disney trips, as well as our local our local adventures. What I wanted to do for you today, and I'm really excited about, because we are in the thick of winter here, and again, I said we live in the greater DC area, so we do get a pretty intense winter, quite cold, and we can start to feel this time of year we can start to feel pretty shut in. And if you have little ones, I know you relate that it's just like this kind of continual coin toss. Like, do you go to the play areas and the indoor, museums and things for kids and come home with the flu, or do you just stay shut in like hermits in your little cave and never get out until you are going crazy? So what I wanted to put together for you today is kind of like my top 10 winter survival tips. Some of these will be for mom, and some of these are obviously for kiddos too. They're really just some good tips for the whole family, things to do and ideas to get creative in your own home. They shouldn't cost a lot. Most of them, I think, are things you might already even have lying around, or would just take a quick trip to Walmart to get stocked with. So yeah, so these are my kind of tips and tricks on winter survival with a family. So I will go ahead and just jump right in. We're going to start with health and wellness. This time of year, it's very, very common for the cold and the kind of crummy weather to bring in all the bugs and viruses. My kids have had a couple different viruses already. They've had a bout of bronchitis. Thankfully, we have missed the flu this year, but it's been a terrible year for the flu. So these are just some things that you can do to kind of keep the health of your family forefront. In January at Costco and at Walmart and all the big stores is a great time to stock up on vitamins. So we always buy a jumbo vitamin for the kids. This is the gummies, and then a jumbo vitamin for mom and dad. This is mine, women's. It's got an energy and metabolism support as well as a bone support. So I really like this one. These were not very expensive, and I have been consistently taking my vitamin. Yay, mom! For a little over, I want to say over 40 days now, since the beginning of January. And I definitely have noticed an improvement in my overall mood and in my health. I have not gotten sick, knock on wood, this year, and the kids have gotten sick several times, but mom has stayed healthy, and I can't always attribute it to the vitamins. It's hard to say, but I do feel like it's the one thing I've started doing this year that I've seen some immediate positive results in my health and just overall like energy and mood. And the kids, they're 3 and 1, so they're picky eaters, and so we get, I feel like, sporadic nutrition because they're not eating all the veggies that I wish they would. So a vitamin is a nice supplement for that. So I would definitely recommend this time of year, especially if you are being cooped up more or inside more or just getting sick more. Invest in a good quality vitamin, and this time of year they're usually on sale. So yeah, vitamins is the first one. The second one is kind of for skin. I get extremely dry skin in the winter, and I have never found a product that worked for me. I've tried everything, all the creams, all the lotions. I've tried, stuff for sensitive skin, stuff for severely dry skin, and just haven't found. Usually by this time of the year, I'm like digging at my skin. It's itching so bad. So I found a product. I bought it around Thanksgiving, and I have been using it consistently the last, 4 months of winter through the holidays, and I am like officially found my product. It is this Norwegian formula deep moisture dry oil. It's from Neutrogena. It says it's a Norwegian formula, but basically every time I get out of the shower, you can see it's liquid. I've used half of it already, so again, I've been using it quite a bit. Basically, when you get out of the shower or bath, you just spritz it all over. My skin is especially dry on my legs, so I spritz a lot of it on my legs and then just kind of rub it in. It doesn't leave a greasy feel on your skin. It does kind of absorb pretty nice. Feels very silky smooth to the touch, and I don't know if it's maybe because it's an easier application than like having to take the time to like rub in the cream. I'm doing it more consistently, so I have not had the same severe dry skin this year that I normally do. So I would really recommend the Norwegian formula from Neutrogena, the Deep Moisture Dry Oil. If I can find these products, and I think I'll be able to, they're pretty common products, so I'm going to list everything below in the comments so you're able to find it and do shopping if something strikes your interest. Now that's what I use, but my kids unfortunately inherited my sensitive and dry skin, especially my little guy. When he was first born, I actually thought that we were gonna have to take him to a dermatologist because any you know, baby shampoo and soap that I was using on him was breaking him out, just like looked like horrible baby acne. But we finally found a Aveeno product for babies. It's eczema therapy, and it's a moisturizing cream. Its active ingredient is the colloidal, I think is how you pronounce it, oatmeal. You kind of maybe see that in the pack. But there's no steroids, no fragrances. It's paraben free, phthalate free, and our kids use this pretty much exclusively as lotion, especially in the winter when their skin is dry. We use it more frequently, and it really works wonders. Everything else was kind of breaking him out, and would kind of make his face turn red, like almost like it had been chapped. And this is one that he doesn't have any negative reactions to, and so I feel really good slathering him up, and he has had very few, like kind of like almost like eczema outbreak patches after using this product. And so of course when baby sister came along, we just have gone with it, and it's been excellent for her too. So this is what I highly recommend for dry skin for mom and for baby, the Aveeno baby, and then the dry oil for mom. Along the same lines of moisturizers is, you know, I don't know if I was late to the party. I'm sure I was late to the party on this, but I have gone through a ton of different like lip balms and moisturizers, chapsticks, and I never found anything that I felt like really worked consistently until this year I broke down and I bought a cutesy little holiday pack of the EOS moisturizer lip balms. They are these cute little like kind of like egg shape, and I got a holiday pack, so one's peppermint and one is champagne. And guys, again, I know I'm late to the party on this, but these are amazing. Like, I have used them since I bought them for myself for Christmas. I have used them and used them and used them the last month and a half, and I have had absolutely no you know, like flaky, rough, peeling lips. Sometimes they would get so bad they get cracked, and unfortunately I'm one of those people that if my lips get really badly cracked or really dry, I can actually break out with a cold sore, which is the worst. So I highly recommend these. I know my Costco has them in packs sometimes for $6, so because they're not the cheapest lip balms, but I think that they are worth the money you spend on them. And so like I said, this was a little 2-for pack I got in a little holiday collection, and now that I'm a new convert to these you know, EOS lip balms, I'm going to be stocking them and using them year round. I really recommend them. And I also put them on my kids when my kids' lips start looking chapped, or we go outside and play and they come in and they're licking their lips a lot. Like, I put that on, and that seems to help them as well. I think that is it for the health and wellness, and we're going to move on to our next category, which is clothing. And it's really just one category I have in clothing for this time of year. Part of being cozy and staying comfy and warm is having some of these kind of, you know, fun little items to have around the house. And what I found for my kids are these slippers. These are boiled wool slippers. Look how cute, it's a little raccoon. This is for my 3-year-old Sawyer. So it's a little pair of raccoons. They're boiled wool, so they really are very warm. You can wear them with a regular pair of socks or just kind of on their own. They don't really have like a rubber sole, so I wouldn't wear them outside, but certainly we have a lot of hardwood in our house, so they're perfect for that. My mom actually got these from a company called Garnet Hill. There's the little label. And they have them usually around Christmas in their catalog, and they're quite popular. So she got my son these little raccoon ones that are adorable. And then my daughter, Vivian, she got the little alpacas, which are also adorable, with the little tassels on their ears and their sweet little face, and these like nice wool cuff. So these are part of what I use to kind of like keep them comfy and cozy. My little one, Vivian, she's actually worn those out and about. You know, if I'm going to be carrying her in and out of the car, but I just want her feet to be really warm, I'll put on a pair of socks and then those wool slippers over the top. My kids in their Christmas stocking this year were big Disney fans, as I've mentioned. They each got a pair of Mickey and Minnie slippers. So these are Sawyers with the little glasses and the little ears. They're very fuzzy and easy to wash, as opposed to And the wool slippers are not as easy to wash, and then these were Vivian's, the little mini ones. So these were pretty cheap, under $10 for these slippers. Now the wool ones are more of an investment, make a great gift, something like that. But like I said, my kids got these for Christmas from my mom, and they've been wearing those a lot. And I have been wearing on my feet the Hygee moisturizing socks. Again, I'm probably late to the party because I would see these every year pop up in like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and on Amazon, and I thought, how can a sock really moisturize my feet? Because I've always had, as I mentioned earlier, the dry skin problem carries over to my feet, and so I guess I was skeptical. This year there was a holiday pair on sale, and so I grabbed them, and I don't know why I'm so skeptical. I'm a believer in them now. So those Hygee moisturizing socks, I really love them, and I've been wearing them a lot. I wear them at night after I've kind of like showered and gotten cozy and we're watching TV or Netflix or something. I pull those on. I have to admit, I have fallen asleep in them once or twice, and that probably has the best results. But generally I'm against sleeping in socks. Like, I end up having to take them off sometime in the middle of the night. Like, I just can't stand to have my feet covered all night long. But yeah, super moisturized. I even bought some for my mother-in-law and my sisters-in-law because I think they will love them. So yeah, that's what I'm wearing to stay cozy and warm, is the Hygee moisturizing socks, and then my kids are loaded up with slippers and fuzzy things for their feet. So the next thing I want to talk about is food and drink, kind of continuing with this idea of hoo-gah, is this idea of like comfort foods and special occasion meals, and kind of getting together and having, sharing a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and just being in the moment, present together, enjoying some of these kind of creature comforts, and not, I feel like in January we always start dieting, which there's a time and a place for it, and it's not a wrong time to start, but it's also a pretty miserable time to start dieting, really hardcore, and we're not very kind to our bodies sometimes. And so I'm trying to take a step back and say, what can I do that is still healthy and still, encouraging me to live a healthy lifestyle, but also not like depriving myself of things that might make the long, dark, kind of difficult months of January and February not so difficult. And one of the things he talked about in the book, the hoo-gah book, was about hot beverages. And so I thought, that's super easy to do. So I put together a couple little mugs. We are Disney fans, so every time we go to Disney, we get another special kind of funky Disney mug. So this was our 2018 one. And so the idea is just to have a big oversized mug and to buy some inexpensive little packets of hot cocoa, and then you add peppermint sticks, marshmallows, cinnamon sticks, if you drink, maybe a shot of peppermint schnapps, or some Baileys or Kahlua or something, and just to make a cozy drink and something to sit on the couch while you're watching TV or in front of the fire, and just kind of breathing in the moment and enjoying the moment. So yeah, that's some ideas for like a special mocha. You could also do that with coffee. Certainly Bailey's in coffee is quite delicious, but at night I'm trying to avoid a lot of caffeine, so the hot cocoa was more of a decaf idea. And then the other one is a tea, if you're more of a tea drinker. And our big Adventureland mug that we got probably in 2017, I have a little mini honey, and honey is quite good for you this time of year as well. People certainly take it medicinally, but just a good squirt of honey in your herbal teas if you're worried about caffeine. Some of my favorites are the Bigelow brand. The I Love Lemon has added vitamin C. I hope you can see that, the glare is pretty bad. And then this one is delicious, the Perfect Peach. It says on the back that it tastes like a slice of peach cobbler or something. I wouldn't go that far, but it's quite delicious. And then if you don't mind a black tea, their vanilla chai it's a spiced chai, is really good, and is perfect for this time of year. So yeah, start a mug collection if you don't already have some oversized mugs, and some mug that makes you happy, that makes you smile, and a hot beverage, whether it's tea and honey or hot cocoa and a peppermint stick, just something kind of cozy, and then get comfortable on the couch and just enjoy the moment. Enjoy January, enjoy February, enjoy those long dark nights, light a candle, sip some tea, and just be in the moment. And he was right. I've done this a couple times now, like kind of like purposely enjoying my cup of tea or my cup of cocoa, and I did feel happier with, I mean, it's silly probably, but it makes a difference. So that's part of my hygge tips for what to drink. And then for what to eat, I've got an idea. Now this one is probably the most expensive idea on the list today, and that is to invest in a family-sized fondue pot. Fondue. This is a Cuisinart. I think it was almost $100. We got it for Christmas a couple years ago, and it's been a great family gift. We've pulled it out and done some like New Year's Eve dinners in it, like a cheese fondue, which was really good. We took apple slices, bread, the little smokies. It's really good. The cheese one is really good. And then for Valentine's Day a couple years ago, we did a chocolate fondue, and we dipped strawberries and pound cake and fruit. So it's a fun thing. It's gonna get everybody in the family involved. I think this particular set comes with 8 of the different fondue forks. So it's a set good enough for 8, so you can have like a little party and invite some people over, and everybody will have their own fondue fork. If I can find the recipes that we used and we loved, I will list them below as well. So if you already have a fondue set in the house, time probably to dig it out of the cupboard, dust it off, clean it up, and give it a try. It's going to be a fun family memory. I can guarantee you that. And delicious, a delicious family memory. And something to do again on one of these cold, long winter's nights. So I highly recommend that. It's, like I said, the most expensive thing on the list. But if you already have one, or you can find one maybe even thrifting or secondhand, or a good sale on one on Amazon, if I find a good price on one, I will link it below. So that was the food and drink. Now moving on to entertainment. So we've already kind of established that the nights are long and cold, and we sometimes have a difficult time getting through these months, but how can we kind of make home full of that idea of hygge, or that comfort, or you know, happiness? And one of the things I think that I don't take advantage of in the cold months is just kind of the ability and the time to be in with family and to focus on kind of like quiet, simple tasks like puzzles. So I'm recommending you guys buy a family puzzle or two. Now this one is a Disney puzzle. It's the Thomas Kincaid. I think this is the Snow White one, yeah, where she sees the cottage. It's a 750 piece puzzle, so it's like a weekend project for you and the spouse, or you and the older kids. But it's a lot of fun. You have good conversations while everyone's gathered around the puzzle table. And it kind of helps pass time, but yet you're not staring at a movie screen. You're kind of interacting with each other and talking. And then for kids, puzzles are great for like development. So we always get a couple puzzles for the kids. This one's a huge one my son got for Christmas. It's a big Melissa and Doug floor puzzle. He's obsessed with fire trucks, so this was his version. So, you know, there could be wooden puzzles. TJ Maxx usually has a good variety of kid puzzles and things. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It's just something you and your family will enjoy, something to do together, something to kill some time on a weekend, and kind of create some of those family memories. Along those lines of entertainment, beyond puzzles is not a new idea, which is the coloring books. Obviously for kids, if you have young kids, this is not a new idea. You probably have a handful at least, some coloring books stashed away in a closet somewhere. So now is the time, you know, it gets dark early, the kids are cooped up and bored inside. Now's the time to pull all those coloring books out, get some markers and some crayons, and all sit down together and have a coloring night party. Your kids will love it, and it will burn. With toddlers, it burns 30 to 45 minutes. But with older kids, you know, maybe you could make a night out of it, especially if you broke out the fondue and a couple new packs of coloring you know, pencils and markers, you could make a night of it, fondue and coloring with the family. So a couple of the ideas I had and we love is this. This is obviously for the older kids or for mom and dad. This is the Landscapes of the World coloring book, and it's got some beautiful, like here's the Tower Bridge from the UK. So it's beautiful, detailed pages, and then it's also got a little bit of the information about the monument or the landmark. So I really like this one for mom and dad. And then for our littlest one, she got a brand new coloring book for Christmas, and I wanted a more classic coloring book for her, so I got this on Amazon. This is my first big book of coloring, and it's very like simple black and white images, large images, so it's good for her. You know, like it's not tiny little lines she has to stay in, and it's got really cute, you know, just simple drawings for her to color. And this has been a big hit already. She actually enjoys coloring probably more than my 3-year-old does. Every kid will be different, but I recommend that coloring book for sure, just for like, it's over I think 100 different images, and they're all big and you know, easy for her to color. So coloring night, puzzle night, and fondue night moves into the final entertainment piece, which is something my husband and I started doing. We actually started it the weekend of Halloween. Every weekend, it didn't matter if it was a Friday night or a Saturday night, we decided we would sit down and rewatch a movie. So we had bought, you know, some of these movie sets. This is the Harry Potter. It's an 8-film one, so it took us 8 weeks to watch one each weekend. But it was so much fun. Like, we loved these movies, and we had watched them, but it had been years and years and years. So just kind of revisiting them, watching one every Saturday night for 8 weeks. It got us from Halloween right up through Christmas. And now on the new year, we're doing a Star Wars, because we have Disney Plus and it has all the Star Wars movies. So we're doing a Star Wars one, going back and watching them in chronological order. So whatever you're into, it can be Lord of the Rings, Raiders of the Lost Ark would be a good one. Maybe even rewatching some TV series you like The Office or Parks and Rec. But just something that you do with intention, one night a week, almost kind of like a mini date. We would pop popcorn and make some type of special snacks, or just get cozy. We have a fireplace, so sometimes we build a fire and get all snuggly in front of the TV and watch our movie. And it really helped mark time, celebrate the season that we're in, not wish away winter, but also kind of something to look forward to each week. So I would highly recommend those movie sets, or you know, TV, DVD sets. Something to do, not to binge, which is hard for us all because Netflix has trained to, you know, kind of taught us to be able to binge and watch episode after episode, but to savor it. You know, do one a week, do a couple episodes a week, and then wait for it to come back around next week, and that excitement will build. And so I do recommend that as well. So that is all of my tips for how to survive winter with a little bit of grace and hopefully some fun as well. As I mentioned earlier, we are going to be doing a lot more traveling this year, so I certainly hope you follow along. We've got 4 Disney trips coming up, including a Disney cruise, which we haven't done for a couple years, so I'm getting very excited about that. So I'd love to hear in the comments like what kind of videos you're interested in, what topics interest you most. Are you a Disney fan as well? Are you going to be excited to see some of that content? Or if you prefer some of these more home lifestyle type of blogs. So I'm kind of interested what your thoughts are. Any comments at all, highly appreciate those. And if you could certainly take a moment to like or to subscribe to my channel, that helps me out a lot. I'm just getting started, so that kind of feedback really means a lot to me. So if you were interested in any of the products that I mentioned, as I'm able, I will link them below so you can find them and do some of your own shopping if you're interested. And as always, I hope you have a really great day with your littles, that you guys get out, have some fun. Oh, I almost forgot. My last thing I want to recommend is a new book. I'm still in the middle of it. I have not finished it, but it's really encouraged me. It's also by a Scandinavian author, and it's called There's No Such Thing as Bad Weather. And it's really, really, really encouraged me to get out there, even in the cold, to bundle them up, whether it's, 20 minutes, or if it's a more mild day, we stay out for longer, but just to get the kids out of the house, get them some fresh air, go to the park, let them swing, let them run around and burn some energy. And I've always been so careful about, oh, it's a little bit too cold for the kids, but this author has really done a great job of like pushing me to do more outdoor things with the kids, and kind of explain some of the benefits of it. And just this idea that in other parts of the world, cold weather is normal, and kids do not just put their life on hold and stay indoors all the time. So I will link that book below too when I am finished with it. If it's as impactful as it's already been for me, I will try to do a more thorough book review of it. But yeah, there is no such thing as winter weather. And yeah, so get out there, go to the park, bundle up, stay warm, stay cozy, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.